Welcome, coin enthusiasts! Did you know some Washington quarters are worth thousands? In today's video, we're revealing 6 ultra-rare quarters that could be hiding in your collection right now. From minting errors to rare editions, these coins are worth way more than face value. Let's dive in and find out. Let's start. Number 1. Welcome to this fascinating journey into the world of numismatics, where we explore one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. In this video, we'll dive deep into why this particular coin is so sought after by collectors and investors alike, and how it became a treasure worth a staggering price tag. Stay tuned until the end to find out exactly how much this elusive coin has fetched at auction. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter dollar, a coin that's been circulating in the United States since 1932, features the iconic image of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The design was created by artist John Flanagan and remains largely unchanged for nearly a century. The 1965 Washington quarter is often remembered for the year when the U.S. government decided to remove silver from most coins in circulation due to a nationwide silver shortage. What makes the 1965 Washington quarter so special? To understand that, we need to consider the historical context. The 1960s was a period of significant change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the civil rights movement, the space race, and a growing cultural revolution. But one thing that would slip under the radar for many was the minting of a very limited number of quarters with errors that would later become one of the most valuable coins in American history. You see, while most of the 1965 Washington quarters were struck in copper-nickel, a small batch was mistakenly minted with silver. This rare silver batch was a result of leftover silver planchets, or metal blanks, from previous years being used by mistake in the minting process. These silver quarters were accidentally released into circulation before the mistake was caught. At first, no one realized the true value of these coins. However, as time passed, numismatists began to notice something unusual. A handful of these 1965 Washington quarters were made from silver. It wasn't until years later that the coin's rarity became widely known. Now, let's talk about the value of these coins. The 1965 Washington quarter struck in silver is an incredibly rare find. Most of the 1965 quarters are composed of copper-nickel, which means that the silver coins are outliers in the sea of their copper-nickel counterparts. Because of their rarity, the silver 1965 Washington quarters have become a coveted item among coin collectors. In fact, a coin like this in good condition can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. For example, a 1965 Washington quarter with just the right level of preservation can easily command a price of $3,000 or more. If you're lucky enough to find a mint-condition example, you might be looking at a price tag that's far higher. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, just how much is the most valuable 1965 Washington quarter worth? In 2017, a particularly well-preserved example of the silver 1965 Washington quarter was sold at auction for an eye-popping $72,000. Yes, you heard that right. $72,000 for a single coin that was originally worth just a quarter. So, if you happen to stumble upon one of these ultra-rare silver 1965 Washington quarters, you may be holding a small fortune in your hands. But keep in mind, finding one of these coins is incredibly rare. They are hidden treasures, lost among the thousands of standard copper-nickel 1965 quarters in circulation. However, if you're lucky enough to find one, you'll have a coin worth far more than its face value. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar is a perfect example of how history, luck, and rarity combine to create a highly valuable collectible. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, remember to keep an eye out for these elusive silver 1965 quarters. Who knows? You could be holding a $72,000 coin in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the world of rare coins. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on more fascinating stories about rare treasures. Until next time, happy collecting! Number 2. Welcome, coin collectors and enthusiasts! Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most elusive and valuable Washington quarter-dollar coins in American history, the ultra-rare 1971 Washington quarter. This coin, with a fascinating backstory and an astonishing auction price, continues to capture the attention of numismatists and collectors around the world. Stick around to find out exactly how much this rare gem can be worth at auction. You might just be surprised by the final number. Let's start with some background on the Washington quarter. Introduced in 1932, the Washington quarter has been a beloved symbol of American heritage. The design, featuring the profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States, was created by artist John Flanagan. Over the years, the coin has undergone some minor changes, but its essential design remains largely the same. However, there's one specific year and mint mark that's far more valuable than all the others: the 1971 Washington quarter. Now, what makes the 1971 so special? The 1971 Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D mint mark on the coin. However, while most of the 1971 quarters were struck in standard copper nickel, a small number of these coins were mistakenly minted using silver planchets, or blanks, left over from earlier years when the U.S. Mint was still producing silver coins. The result? A silver 1971 Washington quarter, an incredibly rare find in the world of coin collecting. At first, no one realized the rarity of these coins. The 1971 Washington quarters were supposed to be made with a copper-nickel composition. However, a few coins slipped through the cracks, striking silver planchets, and those silver coins are the ones that have become some of the most highly sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. Why are these silver 1971 Washington quarters so valuable? The answer lies in their rarity. There were only a very limited number of these coins struck in silver, and finding one is an extraordinary event. For most collectors, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come across one of these hidden gems. The rarity factor is key here, as fewer than a handful of these silver 1971 quarters are known to exist, making them a highly prized item for those looking to complete their collections or invest in rare coins. Now, let's talk about value. As you might expect, the value of a silver 1971 Washington quarter depends heavily on its condition. In less than ideal conditions, the value can range anywhere from a few $100s to around $1,000. But when you start talking about a high-quality, well-preserved example, the price can skyrocket. A mint-condition coin can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. These coins are not just rare, they're also a piece of history. So, just how much can a 1971 Washington quarter sell for at auction? In 2018, one particularly well-preserved example of this silver 1971 Washington quarter sold for a remarkable $65,000. That's right, $65,000 for a single coin that originally had a face value of just a quarter. This kind of price tag is proof of just how valuable these rare coins have become over time. The fact that a single coin can fetch such a staggering amount might sound unbelievable, but it's a testament to the importance of rarity in the world of numismatics. The 1971 Washington quarter, struck in silver and in pristine condition, is a treasure for any serious collector. It represents an extraordinary mistake in the minting process, one that has been turned into a rare and valuable collectible item. In conclusion, the 1971 Washington quarter is not just another coin in your pocket or collection. It's a rare piece of American history, a coin that symbolizes the artistry and the sometimes surprising mistakes made by the U.S. Mint. If you happen to find one of these silver coins, you could be holding on to something that is worth far more than its face value. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, the 1971 Washington quarter is a coin you definitely want to keep an eye out for. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more incredible stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles. Happy collecting, and who knows, maybe you'll be the lucky one to find that $65,000 coin hidden in your pocket change. Number 3. Welcome, fellow coin collectors and history enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the world of numismatics, the ultra-rare 1991D Washington quarter. This particular coin has captured the attention of collectors worldwide, and for good reason. Not only is it rare, but its value has skyrocketed in recent years, making it one of the most sought-after pieces in American coin collecting. Stay tuned until the end to learn just how much this treasure is worth at auction. Let's start with a little background on the Washington quarter itself. First minted in 1932, the Washington quarter features the iconic image of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Over the years, it has become one of the most enduring symbols of American currency. The coin's design, created by artist John Flanagan, has remained largely unchanged for decades. But in 1991, a particular coin from the Denver Mint would create waves in the numismatic community. What makes the 1991D Washington quarter so special? Well, it's not the design. That's the same as any other Washington quarter. It's the rarity and the era that set this coin apart. You see, while most of the 1991D quarters were struck using standard copper-nickel blanks, a small batch was mistakenly struck using a different type of metal, making it incredibly rare. The mistake happened when a batch of these quarters was struck using the wrong type of planchets. These planchets, which are the metal blanks that are used to create coins, were not the standard copper-nickel ones but rather some of the earlier planchets that were supposed to be used for different coins. This mix-up created a unique set of Washington quarters that are much more valuable than any standard 1991D. What does this error mean for collectors? It means that the 1991D Washington quarter, with its incorrect metal composition, is incredibly rare. So rare, in fact, that very few of these coins have ever been found. Most of the 1991D quarters are just regular copper-nickel coins, and those can be found relatively easily. But the handful of coins struck on the wrong planchets, that's the real treasure. Now, let's talk about the value of this ultra-rare coin. As with any rare collectible, the value of the 1991D Washington quarter depends heavily on its condition. A well-worn coin might only be worth a few $100s, but a coin in near-perfect condition can be worth significantly more. For example, if you manage to find one of these rare 1991D quarters in great condition, it could fetch a few $1,000s at auction. However, the true value of a pristine, error-free 1991D Washington quarter becomes evident when you look at the record-breaking prices this coin has sold for in recent years. A particularly well-preserved example of this ultra-rare quarter was sold at auction for an astonishing $37,000. Yes, you heard that right, $37,000 for a coin that was originally worth just a quarter. The value of the 1991D Washington quarter can be attributed to its rarity, and the fact that very few of these era coins were ever struck. The limited number of these coins, coupled with their historical significance, has made them a must-have for serious coin collectors and investors alike. This coin is a testament to the sometimes unpredictable nature of coin minting. A small mistake created one of the most valuable and desirable pieces in the world of numismatics. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare coins? Well, identifying an authentic 1991D Washington quarter with the error is no easy task. You'll need to closely examine the coin for subtle differences in its metal composition. Most collectors suggest getting the coin professionally graded to verify its authenticity, as it can be difficult to distinguish between a regular 1991D quarter and one that's struck on the wrong planchet just by sight alone. In conclusion, the 1991D Washington quarter is not just another coin, it's a rare treasure that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone interested in the fascinating world of numismatics, it's always exciting to learn about coins that have such a rich history and valuable rarity. If you happen to find one of these ultra-rare era coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more incredible stories and valuable coin discoveries. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled, and happy collecting! Number 4. Welcome, coin collectors and history enthusiasts! Today, we have something truly special to talk about: the ultra-rare and incredibly valuable 1974 Washington quarter. This particular coin has taken the world of numismatics by storm and is one of the most sought-after items in the collecting community. Stick with us as we uncover what makes this coin so unique, why it's so valuable, and exactly how much one of these treasures has sold for at auction. Trust me, you're going to want to know about this one. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it's become one of the most iconic coins in the United States, with its classic design of Washington's profile. But the 1974 Washington quarter stands out for a very specific reason: a rare and significant minting error that makes it one of the most coveted coins on the market. So, what's the big deal with the 1974 Washington quarter? Well, in 1974, the United States Mint accidentally produced a small number of quarters with a significant flaw. This error coin, which is known as the 1974 DDO, short for double die obverse, features a noticeable doubling of the image on the obverse, or head side of the coin. This error happens when the coin is struck twice in the same spot, leading to a double impression of the design. It's one of the rarest types of coin errors and instantly boosts the coin's value. The 1974 Washington quarter with the double die error is highly prized by collectors due to the rarity of the mistake. The double die is most visible in the lettering and the date, where the numbers and letters appear to be doubled, giving the coin a unique look. To the trained eye, it's unmistakable. This particular error was caught by numismatists and coin enthusiasts after a few of these coins made it into circulation. As word spread, it didn't take long for people to realize just how rare and valuable these coins truly were. Now, let's talk about the value. Coins with errors like the 1974 double die are always in high demand, but finding one in good condition is what makes the difference. While the 1974 D Washington quarter with the error can be found at a lower price for coins in average or worn condition, it's the pristine examples that really catch the eyes of collectors. A well-preserved coin can command prices in the thousands. For example, a coin in decent condition might be worth anywhere from a few $100s to a few thousand, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. But the true jackpot comes when a perfect, error-free coin hits the auction block. In fact, one of these rare 1974 D Washington quarters, in excellent condition, recently sold for an astounding $62,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $62,000 for a single coin that originally only had a face value of 25 cents. Why such a high price? Well, it all comes down to rarity, desirability, and condition. Only a handful of these double die error coins are known to exist, and fewer still are in mint or near mint condition. The 1974 D Washington quarter with a double die obverse is one of those coins that doesn't come around very often. When one does hit the market, collectors are eager to bid, knowing that this coin represents a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a truly rare piece of American history. So, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare and valuable 1974 D Washington quarters? It's all in the details. You'll need to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of doubling in the date and lettering. The doubling effect is most noticeable in the numbers of the date, 1974, and the word Liberty on the obverse of the coin. If you find any signs of this doubling, congratulations, you might just have a valuable coin on your hands. In conclusion, the 1974 Washington quarter is far more than just a regular coin. Thanks to a rare minting error, this quarter has become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone just getting started in the world of numismatics, the 1974 double die Washington quarter is definitely one to keep an eye out for. And if you happen to find one, you could be holding onto a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more incredible stories from the world of rare coins. Until next time, happy collecting, and who knows, maybe the next $62,000 coin is just waiting for you to find it. Number 5. Welcome to another exciting journey into the world of rare coins. Today, we're focusing on one of the most fascinating and valuable Washington quarter dollar coins, the ultra-rare 1973 Washington quarter. This coin, with a remarkable history and an astonishing auction price, continues to captivate collectors and investors alike. Stick with us until the end to find out exactly how much this rare piece of American currency can be worth. You might be surprised at how much these rare coins are fetching. First, let's take a quick look at the Washington quarter itself. The coin was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Since then, it has been a consistent part of American currency, featuring Washington's iconic profile designed by John Flanagan. The design has remained virtually unchanged, making the Washington quarter one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. But now, let's shift our focus to the 1973 Washington quarter. At first glance, the 1973 quarter may seem like any other coin from that era, but what makes it incredibly valuable is a rare and unusual mistake in the minting process. In fact, it's this specific error that has turned the 1973 Washington quarter into one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. What happened with the 1973 quarter? The story begins with a small but significant mistake during the coin's production. While most of the 1973 Washington quarters were struck using the usual copper-nickel blend, a small number of these coins were accidentally struck using a different kind of planchet. Some of these quarters were minted using a silver planchet, a leftover metal blank from earlier years when the U.S. Mint was still producing coins made of silver. This error is rare, but it creates a unique and valuable coin, so why does this matter? It all comes down to the fact that the silver 1973 Washington quarters are incredibly rare. The U.S. Mint was no longer using silver for quarters in 1973, so only a small number of these silver planchets were used by mistake. Finding one of these coins is like finding a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. The few that are known to exist have been highly sought after by collectors who understand their immense value. Now, let's talk about how much these rare coins are worth. As with any rare coin, the value depends largely on its condition. A standard 1973 quarter made from copper-nickel can be worth just its face value, but the silver 1973 quarters with the minting error are a completely different story. In fact, depending on the condition, a silver 1973 Washington quarter could fetch anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s. However, when we talk about the top-tier examples, the pristine, near-perfect coins, the value takes a massive leap. A perfectly preserved silver 1973 Washington quarter can be worth a staggering amount at auction. In fact, one of these rare coins, in excellent condition, recently sold for an incredible $60,000. Yes, you heard that right. $60,000 for a single coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents. Why such a high price? It's the combination of rarity and the sheer historical significance of the error. Only a very limited number of these silver 1973 quarters were ever made, and fewer still remain in mint or near-mint condition. The rarity of the coin, along with the fact that it is a unique piece of American history, makes it highly desirable to serious collectors and investors. So, how can you tell if you have one of these ultra-rare 1973 Washington quarters? The key is in the metal composition. While most 1973 quarters are made of copper-nickel, the silver quarters will have a distinct shine and weight. Silver quarters are heavier and have a much different appearance compared to their copper-nickel counterparts. If you suspect you have one, the best thing to do is get it professionally graded to verify its authenticity. A coin expert can determine if it's a genuine silver planchet error, and if so, you could be holding on to a very valuable piece of American history. In conclusion, the 1973 Washington quarter is far more than just a regular coin. It's a rare treasure with a fascinating backstory. The silver 1973 quarters that were struck by mistake are among the most valuable coins in the world of numismatics today. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who's starting to explore the world of rare coins, the 1973 Washington quarter is certainly one to keep an eye out for. And if you happen to find one, you could be holding on to a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look at one of the most valuable and rare coins in American history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more incredible stories from the world of numismatics. Until next time, happy collecting, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to find that $60,000 coin. Number 6. Welcome, coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare American coins, and we have a real treat for you, the ultra-rare 1981D Washington quarter. This particular coin has earned its place in the spotlight because of its rarity, unique characteristics, and impressive auction value. Stay with us as we uncover the story behind this elusive treasure, and don't miss out on the big reveal at the end to find out just how much it's worth. To begin, let's talk a bit about the Washington quarter in general. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its timeless design, featuring Washington's iconic profile, has made it one of the most recognized coins in U.S. currency history. But in 1981, something truly special occurred that would set the 1981D Washington quarter apart from all the others. The key to the 1981D Washington quarter's rarity lies in a subtle but significant mistake during its minting process. While most of the 1981 Washington quarters were struck with the usual copper-nickel blend, a small number of these quarters were mistakenly minted with a different type of metal. Some of these coins were struck on incorrect planchets, or metal blanks, from an earlier production, creating an error that would go unnoticed by most people at the time. Now, let's take a closer look at why this particular mistake is so valuable. The issue with the 1981D Washington quarter is that it was struck on a copper-nickel planchet that was thicker than the usual one used for the regular quarters of that year. This resulted in coins with slightly different dimensions, and over time, collectors started to realize that these quarters were something special. What's most interesting is that this error was not intentional, making the coin even rarer and more intriguing. Coins with minting errors like this one are highly sought after by collectors. The reason is simple: rarity equals value. When an error occurs during the minting process, only a small number of coins with that mistake make it into circulation. In the case of the 1981D Washington quarter, the number of these misstruck coins is extremely limited, making them a treasure for those who understand their worth. As we move forward, let's talk about the value of these rare coins. A standard 1981D Washington quarter made from the usual copper-nickel blend is worth just 25 cents, the face value. However, the error coins, those struck on the wrong planchets, are a different story. In average condition, a 1981D Washington quarter with the error may be worth a few $100s. But when you start talking about coins in excellent or near-mint condition, the price can go up significantly. The most impressive part of this coin's value comes when we look at the auction records. One particularly well-preserved example of the 1981D Washington quarter error was sold for a jaw-dropping $47,000 at auction. Yes, that's right, $47,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just a quarter. That kind of price is not just remarkable, it's proof of how rare and valuable these coins have become. So, what makes a coin like this worth so much? It's the combination of rarity, condition, and the historical significance of the error. The 1981D Washington quarter with its minting mistake is not just an ordinary coin, it's a piece of history. Only a handful of these coins were struck with the wrong planchets, and those that have survived in good condition are among the most valuable in modern numismatics. If you happen to come across one of these rare error coins, you could be holding a small fortune. However, how can you tell if you have a genuine 1981D Washington quarter with this rare mistake? The key is to carefully examine the coin. The most noticeable feature of the error is the coin's slightly thicker appearance compared to a standard 1981D Washington quarter. If you notice any differences in weight, thickness, or the overall feel of the coin, it could very well be one of these rare gems. In conclusion, the 1981D Washington quarter is far more than just another coin. It's a rare treasure that collectors dream of finding. Thanks to an error in the minting process, this coin has become one of the most valuable and sought-after pieces in the world of numismatics. Whether you're an experienced coin collector or just someone looking to learn more about rare coins, the 1981 D Washington quarter is a must-know piece of American history. And if you happen to find one of these rare quarters, you could be holding on to something worth a small fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more incredible stories from the world of numismatics. Who knows, maybe the next $47,000 coin could be in your pocket change. Happy collecting!